Privet, thank you for joining us here on Featured. Now, we hope to inspire or simply make you smile with uplifting stories from across the country. Let's start with a family who is dealing with the unthinkable right now. Two sisters, both under the age of 35, are battling a rare and aggressive form of breast cancer. They wanted to share the reality of battling the disease and spread awareness about it. And as Michelle Bowden reports, that led to the ladies sharing their journey on social media.
These two remarkable women are fighting cancer together and hoping to share the important lesson they learned with other women.
Who got cancer first?
Their social media posts
Who lost their hair first?
have gone viral. Lindsay is 32.
And I was recently diagnosed with stage 2 triple negative breast cancer.
Katie is 28.
And I also have stage 2 triple negative breast cancer.
Yep, that's my sister. And yes, we both have breast cancer at the same time.
The sisters were diagnosed just 2 weeks apart.
I woke up one morning and I was like, feels like kind of like a golf ball in my chest. Biopsy confirmed that it was in fact breast cancer.
She found a lump and called me to let me know and said, will you please go get checked? And so literally that day I went to the gym and I did a workout class, and then I was in the shower at Equinox and I was like, I'll do a self check while I'm here. And I felt a lump and I was like, there's no way.
What the heck, right? And it just felt so crazy. And at the same time, all right, what do we have to do?
Unbelievable, especially with the type of cancer that we have, triple negative. It grows really fast and is really aggressive. So I just feel so lucky that we both caught it super early, and the tumor is the same size. We're at the same staging, same course of treatment. So yeah, it's really, really bizarre.
Part of the reason they both caught it so early, the sisters are hyper aware of the risks of breast cancer. They started getting regular mammograms 3 years ago after learning they both carry the BRCA gene, mutation that makes women more likely to develop breast cancer.
Years ago, when I was 25, I did 23andMe to figure out, because we have two moms and they use a sperm donor, we always knew that there were probably half siblings out there.
We found out that we were 50% Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish, which actually is a risk factor for the BRCA mutation.
And so from there, I was getting regular MRIs and getting checked out.
Once they both got the same exact diagnosis, the sisters decided to document their journey on social media.
With the TikTok, it's been wild to hear so many women messaging us, I had triple negative breast cancer. If one other young person sees this and is like, oh my gosh, okay, there's someone else going through this too, and able to make that connection, I think is just a really, really special thing.
What a great story from Michelle Bowden. Now, both sisters will finish chemo and then have double mastectomies. Their surgeries are scheduled just 2 weeks apart, and of course, we are wishing them the best. Customers at a market in Oregon won't have to stamp their passports to get a taste of other cultures. As Stephanie Domerat explains, the market's owner is sharing different cultures from around the world bite by bite, while also helping families who now call a different country home.
I was taking the risk to take over this business.
Amir Bashir's days inside his grocery store.
We are serving over 90 different type of cultural food.
Are all about bringing a sense of home when it's no longer possible to go there.
The Rohingya people are actually victim of genocides. We are genocide survivor.
He came to Portland in 2014 as a Muslim refugee forced to flee from Burma, now Myanmar.
Thank you so much. You have a great day, sir.
He opened Yadinar Market a few years later, specializing in food and spices from cultures around the world, including his own Rohingya community.
It's because of there is no cultural food exists from our community since we are coming here as refugees.
The store also serves as a free food distribution site for hundreds of Rohingya families. The Oregon Food Bank supplies the goods, and Bashir helps reach those who need it most.
These are critical relationships for Oregon Food Bank to have with a community partner. These organizations understand the needs, the schedules, the languages spoken of these client bases.
This partnership, one of about 1,200 in Oregon and Southwest Washington, allowing the food bank to connect with communities and organizations that then distribute the meals. Bashir says even with full-time jobs, many families are struggling to make ends meet, and these boxes can mean one less burden to carry.
Even sometimes get not able to paying their utility bills, the other all expenses to support their children, even their school materials, they're not able to support through the incomes they're making. So this is the strongest support that we have from the food bank, that we are able to support all those families, especially food on their plates, through this support.
That was Stephanie Domerat reporting. A high school senior in Minnesota has set his sights high as he prepares for the next chapter of his life. He will travel to India after he graduates. And as Jessica Hart explains, he is training to be a leader of peace.
A voice as strong as the wind can lead hundreds of people.
Yeah.
A voice Jalu Dorji will learn to perfect.
This probably takes a while to learn.
Once he graduates high school, he'll have years to practice.
I will be going overseas to Mindreling Monastery, which is a school in India. That's where I'll begin my monastic studies.
Studies fit for a leader of peace.
It was always, your Lama.
When he was a toddler, the Dalai Lama recognized him as a reincarnated Lama.
To me, it's just someone that is responsible to teach peace.
A voice of peace is what he hopes to become.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama always says, we need to find a way to bring 8 billion people into oneness. So that's sort of what I want to teach.
Reciting Tibetan texts hundreds of years old, Jalu leads from the front with the other monks, a role that comes naturally.
There hasn't been a time where I could think of like a big bump.
Big bumps he avoided with the help of his parents.
He wakes up really early to teach me, and that's something he's been doing since I was 4. So now I'm 18.
An 18-year-old who studies scripture before school, plays left guard, and manages the basketball team at Irondale High School. Blending the life he was destined for and the life of a teenage boy.
I definitely think it's going to help me in the future, relating to the people.
While his pitch isn't this deep, Jalu has already found his voice. In Minneapolis, Jessica Hart.
Alrighty, let's head on over to Kentucky now, where a first grade teacher is going above and beyond for her students. Grace McKenna takes us to a celebration where the school is honoring her years of dedication. Take a look.
Watch me read. For 17 years, this same classroom has been Heather Fallin's.
Everything about Painted Stone is kind of who I have evolved, over the years to be.
The same classroom and the same grade. The Painted Stone teacher wouldn't have it any other way.
I think the joy of first graders and being in first grade and being in the same classroom for so long is that first grade is the year to me that they make the biggest growth. They make the biggest jump.
Fallin says the growth mindset she's adopted for her first graders is the one she takes on herself.
I feel like I'm always, trying to find what's the latest and greatest for my students. What is best practice for my kids, and making sure that I'm offering them the best that I can during that time that they're with me.
She builds close relationships, so she knows what her students need to learn. And some days, what they need most is her.
They love having someone root for them. They love having a cheerleader, so I get to be that for them.
The cheerleader got a pep rally all her own. Honored with the 2025 Excel Award.
Ms. Fallin, you are a 2025 Excel Award winner.
When the confetti clears, Fallin heads back to that same classroom, the one years of students remember as a place where they could grow.
What a joy it is for me to get to be here every day with them.
And a place where the special joy of first grade is first up on the lesson plan.
Alrighty, that was Grace McKenna reporting. Now, in a different classroom over in South Carolina, Miss Rebecca Miller, there she is. She is growing right alongside her students. She teaches at Saluda Elementary School, and she's had the rare opportunity of following her students from first grade to fourth grade. Oh, I love that. And now her little ones just can't imagine school without her.
We all loved her so much last year. We wrote letters to our principal begging her to let Miss Miller move up with us.
And you can probably guess what happens next.
I am delighted to announce that Miss Miller will indeed be your fifth grade teacher.
Look how excited they were. Miss Miller says her love for education, it's in her blood, as she comes from a long line of teachers. That is a great opportunity for both Miss Miller and the students. All right, it's time for a brief break, but before we go, here's a quick taste of what's ahead. What happens when you put 10 guys and 800 gallons of paint together? A massive makeover for the tallest roller coaster in Texas. We are getting an inside look at this high-flying project. Plus, I have a question for you. How many pairs of Crocs do you have? I don't have any yet, but I can bet you're not touching this guy's collection. He is known as the Croc King in Connecticut, but he may soon reign over a new title. More on that ahead, and we are taking you to a dentist appointment where the patients are rocking out while getting their teeth checked. Welcome back. Now, for some folks, visiting the dentist brings up feelings of anxiety and discomfort that may go back to your youth, but not for patients at one Colorado office. Amanda Gilbert shows us how the appointments feel more like a rock concert.
Pam Davis, rock and rolls always made the days better.
Music really got me through a lot of different stressful times in my life, like graduate school and moving and trying new things. Are you having any jaw pain?
When Pam expanded Davis and Parker Family Dental,
Yep, that looks good.
She thought, why not let the beat go on?
I'm gonna do rock and roll as the decor.
Here, what's obsolete or vintage becomes art. Celebrities have cavities too. The teeth are dancing, even looking up is nostalgic.
We started having them paint the tiles so that patients can have something to look at as well.
It's not just about what patients see.
It looks like there is a small cavity on number 7.
Pam knows the drillings, the fillings, the cleanings aren't what people want to hear.
Dentistry can be so anxiety causing or, such a deterrent. People just have such horrific experiences from back in the day when the technology wasn't there.
So why not fill the room with sounds people like to listen to?
Music is so uplifting and can really change your attitude in so many different ways, so why not at the dental office? Steve, what do you want to listen to today during your appointment? It might be Rage Against the Machine, it might be classical music, but each patient gets to decide what makes them feel more comfortable when they're here.
It kind of brings me back to when I grew up with the rock and roll era, so it's kind of fun.
Instead of peace, rock, and love, it's peace, rock, and dentistry.
By blending her two passions, Pam hopes more patients find dental care to be almost as cool as rockin' on.
I love that. I don't know what I would request, although I do appreciate the little soft music that plays in the background. I wouldn't mind requesting like No Doubt or something from the 90s. Yeah, that'll bring me some calm. All right, that was Amanda Gilbert reporting. Now, have you heard of the Croc King? Yeah, we're talking about Crocs, the soft sandals that have become a pop culture footwear phenomenon. Jim Altman introduces us to a social worker in Connecticut who is well on his way to setting the world record as the top collector. Take a look.
In the world of collectibles, how do you step up and get noticed? Well, here it comes down to one word, one syllable: Crocs. It's a story that starts from the ground up.
We got some good ones up in here.
And keeps climbing.
There's a pair for everybody.
That's Doogie.
My name is Doogie Sand Tiger, and that is my real name. Changed my name, changed my life, changed my future, and now I'm the Croc Man.
Doogie has taken nothing in stride.
These ones I really love.
But he could.
Snow boots, Croc snow boots.
Because he's become the undisputed king of Crocs.
So as of this exact moment, we're at 3,706 pairs. I have several more on the way. I'm always hunting them down. So that goes up almost every day or every week when the new ones keep coming in, and they keep doing new releases and new drops.
We met Doogie from Wethersfield at the Thomas Hooker Brewery in Bloomfield.
So I brought a nice eclectic mix of craziness.
Where he showed us just a sample size.
So I got my first pair when I was a teenager back in 2007.
Bejeweled in gibbets From peaches to bananas, from the dark side to wicked. Perhaps there's more soul to his collection of rubberized resin.
When I was a kid, I grew up in the foster care system of Connecticut, and one of the things that I struggled with was tying my shoes. I didn't learn how to tie my shoes, and I was kind of scared and embarrassed to reach out for help. I saw this woman wearing, and I'll never forget it, these lavender Crocs. She was out in her garden in her front yard, and it was like an epiphany moment. I'm like, no shoelaces. They're really cool, quirky, odd, and like kind of like me. Like I like to be colorful and interesting and fun. Got my first pair that day.
It's not a, well, footnote that the Guinness Book of World Records will soon officially declare Doogie the Croc King sometime this summer.
And that's where this crescendo is leading as the #1 croc collector in the world.
A collection that's cost Doogie more than $500,000 and has taken him across the country. Also has a grassroots message. He's now a social worker with the DCF, helping kids growing up in his same shoes.
The why, that's what I don't get to explain enough, is the why. It really is honestly a beautiful story. I'm proud of it. And my life now I dedicate to being a good role model and good influence. And I try to show people that the world is a breath of possibilities and it's just about having fun. And look where it led us.
In Bloomfield, Connecticut, I'm Jim Altman.
Great story from Jim Altman. What a deep meaning behind that massive collection. Can't wait to see if he nails it. All right, we have much more for you ahead on Featured. Social media is buzzing about this grocery store visit. We'll tell you what happened here when a husband walked inside the store and he got quite a heartwarming surprise. We'll reveal it up next. And a little bit later, a music lesson from a world-famous cellist, how she is using her instrument to encourage others to pursue their dreams. Welcome back. Let's take a look at what's trending online. The internet just cannot get enough of a little boy who found a creative way to tell his mom he needs a little alone time to recharge his social battery. Take a look.
You can tell me that, right?
Break! I need a break!
Okay.
That is relatable content. I need a break too, and sometimes, hey, it looks like kids need a break every now and then. 5-year-old Cooper was born deaf, and he has to wear a cochlear implant to hear, but while having a conversation with mom, he turned his listening ears off. And when mom asked why he took the implant out, Cooper said he needed a break from talking. I feel you, little Cooper. I wish I could just hit an off button sometimes, or a little mute or something. The video has received more than 8 million views on TikTok, with many users saying, hey, they need a break too.
Please don't go in there.
Hey, hands off the snacks. Here's a little one who's going viral. Little Aniston told her mom leftovers no longer go in the fridge. They belong in, you just saw that, her shoes. Now in the video, mom is trying to tell her, that's gross. Don't put your food in your shoes. But the little toddler would not let up, and she put her little leftover chicken nugs back in her shoes. Yikes. Sticking with food here, how much would you pay for this Cheeto? Let me tell you what's going on. One buyer handed over more than $87,000. Yeah, for that one Cheeto. It's 3 inches. It's a flaming hot Cheeto, but it's no ordinary snack. It is shaped like the popular Pokemon Charizard. It is sold at Golden Auction House. Now, according to the listing, there were about 60 bids placed on the so-called Cheeto-Zard, and there was a lucky winner. Alrighty, now this next story is very on brand for Floridians. I lived out there for about 9 months. You know, some people love Target, maybe you love Costco. Well, one Florida man says Publix is his favorite place on earth. He even knows most of the employees who work there, but during a recent visit, he saw more familiar faces than usual. Take a look.
Oh. Hey, is today your birthday? Hey, happy birthday!
Oh, I love that. Amanda threw her husband Alex a surprise birthday party at their local Publix. Now she says he goes there at least once a day. So when they went there to pick up his cake before his birthday dinner, it wasn't out of the ordinary. But this was not a typical store run. Alex just happened to bump into 26 of his close friends and family who Amanda secretly invited. Now, he eventually caught on to the surprise, especially after seeing some folks he hadn't seen in nearly a year. And once the secret guests were revealed, they went next door to celebrate Alex together. Well, this video has racked up more than 9 million views on TikTok, and one user wrote, "He must be pretty great for his friends to just randomly walk around the grocery store to hunt him down." I love that. And I have to say, I don't blame them for loving Publix. They have good treats. You know, when you're heading out to the beach, you need a little food and something to snack on. All right, that is it for trending. Here's a look at what's ahead.
I saw all the boys around me playing, but not me.
And more women, they want in on flag football. We'll tell you how colleges are giving female students a chance to compete. Plus, family matters. Why you may want to talk through some issues that could lead to a divide in your home. Thank you for staying with us here on Featured. I'm Symphony Privet, and we are continuing to bring you some uplifting stories from across the country. There's a program in Florida that's connecting loved ones to essential resources that will strengthen their bond and emotional well-being. Caitlin Lockery tells us how.
We were struggling a little bit with one. He will take like a lot of things personally and we'll get in fights. And that was affecting obviously the girls and me, and we were looking for help.
As a single mom of 3, Paula knew that she needed to reach out for support and found a community program.
We provide family therapy, individual counseling, and we also provide resources in the community.
You can choose whatever you could go to talk, and they give good coping skills to manage your anger issues or anything related that you're struggling with emotions.
The program assigned a case manager and therapist to work with them.
I always explain to the families that I'm working with them and we're working together.
Their case manager, Beatrice, also connected them to resources.
She figured out how we needed as a family, culturally, and she listened to us.
And the results are making a big impact.
I feel more in peace.
Now, like, we spend a lot of time together. He's starting having more friends and he's hanging out more. I love how he cares about me very much.
I'm the big brother and I should like behave like example for them, you know?
When he feels secure and he feels confident and he feels that he has assistance, he's not alone, he can be successful.
Now on the right track and ready to take on adulthood.
Yeah, I feel ready. I'm prepared to be one.
All right, love that. In the words of rap legend Jay-Z, nobody wins when the family feuds. That was Caitlin Lockery reporting. All right, now the Make-A-Wish Foundation is dedicated to putting a smile on the faces of children battling difficult illnesses. But those wishes aren't just for terminally ill children.
About 95% of the kids that we serve go on to lead happy, healthy lives. And the wish was part of their healing journey. It gave them something to look forward to, something to dream about, and an experience for the entire family.
Make-A-Wish then works directly with the child to build and expand their wish. The organization's Indiana chapter says it takes the entire community to make it happen.
The horse wish were granted last year in North Idaho. Had everybody involved from the rodeo to the veterinary clinics, and everyone is involved in that one wish. So the ones that get the most people involved, I think, are the best wishes.
Make-A-Wish has 58 chapters across the country, and it relies entirely on donations to fund the wishes. I didn't know that. Good to know. All right, now a world-famous cellist is going back to her roots over in St. Louis. Renee Knott shows us how she is now inspiring the next generation in her hometown.
She's back where it all began, Kirkwood High School.
This is amazing.
But now, Patrice Jackson is a Hall of Famer.
Still just a little black girl from St. Louis trying to make it in this world.
Humbly speaking, in the classroom, now named for her dad.
It's so surreal to me. I wish I had somebody that looked like me when I was their age to look up to.
She's a world-renowned cellist.
I just wanted to do something different. Everybody's playing the violin.
The instrument is her voice.
It allows me the opportunity to tell my story.
Playing it is not just her way of expression.
It's the only instrument that can really mimic the human voice.
The cello is also her way of carrying
Fully understanding who I am and where I come from.
Her family's legacy.
I'm the 6th generation in my family to play a string instrument, but I'm the first to be able to take it this far.
And in the climb through the challenging world of music,
Tougher skin and tougher skin.
where she has met plenty of hurdles,
More than I care to share.
she called on her past to keep pushing forward.
When I have my moments of feeling like I'm knocked down, but I'm still standing on their shoulders. And they are pushing me back up.
The perseverance,
It just prepared me for life.
leading to recognition and opportunity. She now teaches at Berklee College of Music and at the Boston Conservatory.
I love what I do. And that's what I try to teach my students as well.
Patrice Jackson hopes her presence with the cello hits the right chord with her audience
People can walk away feeling what I feel.
and moves them in the pursuit of their dreams.
And that's my goal, is to make sure everybody leaves like, oh, that touched my spirit.
I love that. That was Renee Knott reporting. Now, Patrice Jackson, this is so cool. She trains with some of the best in the music biz. She is a graduate of the Juilliard School in New York and the Yale School of Music in Connecticut. She even collaborated with Alicia Keys, and John Legend. That is incredible. Now, more women are breaking barriers, stepping into industries where, men have traditionally made up the majority of the workforce. And thanks to a nonprofit in South Texas, more doors are opening up for hundreds of young women in that area.
So I like to say this one's for the gals was built on a foundation of girls can't be what they can't see.
Through her organization, Stephanie Hadachek empowers women to explore career paths and develop skills in construction, energy, manufacturing, and maritime industries, the fields that are, again, traditionally dominated by men.
I don't know, I thought that I wouldn't be able to make it because I was the only girl, and I thought that it wasn't meant to be because there weren't any other women doing it, but I figured out that's not the case.
She's the perfect example of, you tell a girl it's out there for her, she's gonna go get it. She's gonna go and get it. She's gonna do what it takes to go and get it and be successful. It was really just that full circle success story that makes you think, this is why. It's just one, but man, that's all it takes, is just one.
That is right. Go get it, ladies. Thanks to the support from Stephanie. At just 19 years old, Lindsay Mead has a full-time job right now as an instrumentation and electrical technician for a chemical company. Way to go, girl. You do that. All right, now we are recognizing a group of college athletes now who are making history of their own. Over in Minnesota, the team is partnering with local colleges to launch a flag football league. And Heidi Wigdahl shows us who's getting in on the action.
The University of Northwestern St. Paul is getting ready for a game changer.
I saw all the boys around me playing, but not me.
Valerie Jong grew up playing flag football.
I've played with my dad in the backyard. He's super involved and loves football. And then I've also played in church leagues.
Now the Northwestern senior is one of more than 20 students signed up to play women's flag football at the school.
So many people are signing up, we had to go to page 2 of the interest level. From current athletes, girls who played flag in high school.
Matt Hill, director of athletics, says 6 months ago the Vikings approached Northwestern about the opportunity.
I know nationwide in the world of athletics it's catching fire. There are conferences now that are sponsoring it.
The Vikings are partnering with 6 NCAA schools in and near Minnesota to launch the Women's League. Augustana University, Concordia College, Gustavus Adolphus College, Bethel University, Northwestern, St. Paul, and the University of Wisconsin-Stout. Between the Vikings and the NFL, they're giving $140,000 to get the league off the ground.
I think it could go, the sky's the limit for flag football for girls.
Erin Call is one of the coaches and also the head women's basketball coach.
A lot of our players were very, very excited about participating in flag football.
Erin says it's already had an impact on recruiting.
Girls are interested because they say, you have flag football there. I play flag football. I might be more interested in coming to Northwestern because of it.
According to the NFL, participation from girls ages 6 to 17 doubled over the past 2 years. As the Vikings build off their investments in girls flag football, this is the last play of a winning drive.
We are offering programs at the youth, middle school, high school, and it's going to be an Olympic sport as well. So by providing this collegiate opportunity, we're really kind of finishing out that pipeline.
I just hope that this can be an opportunity for other girls to consider playing football, that we can play football, and that if the opportunity is here, let's do it. Let's make it a big sport.
Yeah, you heard her, ladies. Get on the gridiron and show them what you got. I love this story because as a young girl, I was not afraid to go outside with the neighborhood boys and play a little football in the yard. I get down, I get dirty. I loved the game. And I gotta say, not to toot my own horn, but I got a solid arm. I can throw a solid spiral. I'll see if I come up with some video and post it on my social account. All right, that was Heidi Wigdahl reporting. Let's head to Texas now for a little something I'd like to take a stab at. Check this out. Over in Dallas, parks and recreation workers are showing off their skills in the annual maintenance rodeo. Every competitor is one of the best or most talented in the state.
This is like our Christmas here, you know, where we get to just come out and have fun and enjoy ourselves.
The competition includes various challenges like this, a mower obstacle course, and a nail driving and backpack blower contest. I don't think I'd be too good at that one, but it's not all about fun. The Maintenance Rodeo aims to recognize the people who keep parks and public places shining.
They're the unsung heroes often, and it's just a really fun way to recognize them and celebrate the work that they do.
Now this is your sign. The next time you come across a Parks and Rec employee, be sure to stop and say thank you. Alrighty, now if you're afraid of heights, be glad you didn't have to take on this job behind me here. We are going up high on a roller coaster ride in Arlington, Texas. And as Sean Giggy explains, we'll be up there for a while.
A lot of people come to Arlington's Six Flags Over Texas to ride Titan, the tallest roller coaster in the state. But imagine climbing 250 feet to the top and never coming down.
I'm usually up in the air all day, except for lunch.
Carlo Legaspi says every job has its ups and downs, but his job is mostly ups. Carlo, that dangling dot, is team lead for Bainham, the company hired by Six Flags to repaint Titan. He and his team travel the country hanging out at amusement parks. Jealous?
If you're afraid of heights, this is probably not a good gig for you.
Bainham president Walt Bowser says his team paints about 120 rides like Titan every year.
We'll be done with the track.
And there's a lot more to it than just a fresh coat.
Training.
Before a single drop of color hits the track, it's cleaned, protected, and primed.
Oh, the exterior?
After weeks of prep, the paint goes on by hand.
Of course, if you're spraying way up high and the wind picks it up, we could be getting, paint on the Cowboys Stadium. And so we do everything by brush and roll.
By the time Bainham is done, every inch of Titan will have been touched 4 times. They're doing it now because it's off-season, and roller coasters need to be repainted every 10 to 15 years, which presented an opportunity.
Titan is in the Texas theme area, and we wanted to honor that heritage. So what's more iconic than the red, white, and blue, which are the colors of the Texas flag?
Six Flags regional PR manager Wilma Rivera said gone are the orange and teal, and in are the red, white, and blue. Wait, where's the red?
There is a little bit of secret, but you have to come back and see it.
All told, it'll take roughly 10 guys, a few months, and 800 gallons of paint. A titanic achievement.
Yeah, there's a lot of pride that we take as a company, and individually, the guys take a lot of pride in what they're doing.
Sometimes I sneak a picture or two. I'm blessed. I found something that I love to do.
When Titan is finished, like every attraction he paints, Carlo likely won't go on it. And that's okay, because he says, with a dream job, every day is a ride. In Arlington, I'm Sean Giggy.
Oh my goodness. Carlo, I'm gonna let you have that. That's not for me. It's time for a short break. But here's what's coming up on Featured, a dog walk that lasted nearly a month. We'll tell you what this little cutie was caught doing while living in the wild. Plus, 4 generations of foot traffic at one shoe store in a small town. We'll tell you what the family-owned business attributes to its long success. Now, we all know businesses come and go, but there is one shoe store in Iowa that's been pretty busy repairing soles for nearly a century now. And as Boyd Hubert shows us, just because you're in a small town doesn't mean you can't go the distance.
You've heard the stories from rural America of struggling stores abandoning small-town main streets. This is not one of those.
This machine probably was built in about 1930s, I would guess.
That Tim Weaver is coaxing a Depression-era sewing machine toward its second century is not the feat that brought us 7 miles south of the Minnesota border to be among the 850 people of Buffalo Center, Iowa.
It is very unique.
The feet that brought us here are the feet that have brought Weaver's leather to a milestone.
We're coming up 100 years next year.
Which isn't Weaver's only significant number.
We're probably close to 13,000.
13,000 pair of shoes stacked floor to rafters.
It goes and goes.
Shoes filling the original store and a series of additions.
We're a little full.
15 pairs of shoes for every man, woman, and child in town.
This is a 16 extra wide.
Which Julie, Tim's wife, will tell you is a bit misleading.
Those are all the people who have come here.
Because Weaver's knows no borders.
We have shoes in every state.
And then we have the world map behind you.
Not quite as impressive in the age of online sales until you consider this.
Never had a website, just word of mouth and people coming.
A business model that hasn't strayed far from Tim's father when he took over the store 74 years ago.
Probably about 30 years ago, that picture.
Tim keeps this picture of his dad nearby. And another reminder, even closer.
That's me.
30 years past retirement age.
He's 94 now.
Leroy Weaver can't stay away.
He comes to work with me every day.
Well, a little stubbornness. Leroy was 19.
Ted Weaver.
When his father died of cancer.
Leroy is right here.
Leaving Leroy to take over the store his dad founded in 1925. If you're keeping tabs, that's 3 generations.
I'm the 4th generation, and I'm Colin Weaver.
Colin and his brother Tanner.
This is my thing.
Intend someday to take over the store themselves.
Well, I kind of was weighing my options in college, seeing what I all wanted to do, but really realized that I wouldn't be able to find anything that I'm passionate about like this.
A passion that keeps Colin's grandma Carolyn busy too.
I rip out zippers. There isn't people that do this anymore. They throw things. We live in a throwaway country, I think.
But not here.
These got shipped to us all the way from Britt, Minnesota. They're English riding boots with a broken zipper.
Not here. No, you saved it's unsavable.
The same could be said for Weaver's, the kind of small-town store that shouldn't have survived.
If you're looking for wedges,
yet
I have them.
Thrives.
Reinforced toe.
They said they have a lot of Minnesota customers.
Yeah, a lot of customers, period.
Sounds good. Thanks, Shelley. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
Yet no matter how busy.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Every day, 3 generations of Weavers walk up their rural main street.
Small town, we can jaywalk.
Under the guise of drinking coffee and talking shop.
You said red thread, we gotta get that ordered.
Yet knowing it's something deeper when the business conversation
I got a couple of shades of brown that I got to order.
includes 3 generations.
Not too many people can say that. It's an honor.
It's something special, I'll tell you that.
That's what
we're here for. Keep the generations going.
In small towns across America, businesses come and too often go. But how appropriate the strong fabric of Buffalo Center depends on weavers.
That was Boyd Hupert reporting. Let's go to Idaho now to meet a photographer who was using her talent to give back. Christy Cooper loves to take photos of first responders and their families. Oh, that is so cute. And the best part is she does it for free. You know, we love things that are free 99 here. Christy explains why it is so important for her to show appreciation.
You know, I'm not only there to take pictures, but I get to know these families and we share stories and we've shared tears, and it's such an amazing experience. They're human and they have families, and when they walk out the door, they may not come back. You just never know. And the sacrifices that they make are tremendous, and I'm full of gratitude for them keeping our communities safe and risking their lives.
It's something that we really hold near and dear to our hearts. The photos you get back from her are phenomenal. They last a lifetime.
Christy says her dad was in the military and she wishes she had more photos of him and their family growing up. So that is a huge part of her motivation. I love that, especially as someone who has a father who was in the military. All right, coming up next on Featured, this adorable pup, Bo. Look at that cutie. Went missing for a few weeks. We'll tell you how his community worked together to get him back home. All right, now a dozen eggs will cost you just under $5 because of the bird flu outbreak. I paid more than $5. I think I shelled out like $7 last time I got some eggs. While there are many grocery stores that are now limiting purchases, and that is why some farmers and homesteaders are starting to get a little creative. Holden Kuricki shows us how you can now rent chickens of your own.
After leaving her job as a researcher in 2013,
I didn't want to go back to a regular cubicle position.
Jen Tompkins and her husband hatched a wild idea.
He looked at me, straight face, said, "You want to rent some chickens?"
12 years later, that idea has grown legs, or in this case, wings.
Fun fact, if you search for crazy business ideas, Rent the Chicken is on there now.
By partnering with farmers and homesteaders across the United States and Canada, Rent the Chicken has developed a system to drop off everything you need to get farm fresh eggs.
We provide a portable chicken coop with 2 to 4 egg-laying hens. 2 hens lay about a dozen eggs a week. And we provide the feed with the rental.
While some may cry foul at the $545 price tag to rent 2 chickens for 7 months,
our price is comparable to someone starting on their own.
Though St. Louis City and County allow residents to keep chickens in their backyard, that's not the case for every community.
We don't believe there's any chicken police out there, but if your neighbors are on board, we compare a couple of chickens in your backyard to having a tomato plant. The neighbor's not going to complain about a tomato plant. They shouldn't care about a couple of chickens in the backyard.
Tompkins admits there have been instances where rented chickens have ruffled some feathers.
If one of our renters decides it's not a good fit, they can chicken out.
I see what she did there. Chicken out? Well, the way these egg prices are going up, seems like it might be a good idea. That was Holden Kuricki reporting. All right, on to our next story here. A call out to social media helped spur a search from hundreds of folks who were strangers across a rural area in northeastern Pennsylvania. Here's the scoop. Look at this little pup. 1.5-year-old Bo went missing for 22 days in Luzerne County. Now, his family says Bo left their property and he didn't come back. Oh, they immediately began looking for him, but days turned into weeks, and unfortunately, there was no sign of Bo, so they reached out to social media for help.
There's no words. It was insane and incredible. So many people were like, all right, we're finding this dog. People were driving around, looking, hoping for a sighting. Like hundreds of people I don't know, people I just met.
I get this. Look at this picture. Bo was caught on camera with a pack of coyotes, and he also had a run-in with a porcupine. Ah, poor baby. Well, the family was finally able to catch him in a trap nearly 8 miles away from their home. He's a bit malnourished, but he's expected to make a full recovery. And in the meantime, the best medicine he could get, look at that, some snuggles with his siblings. Good ending to that story. Thank you so much for joining us here on Featured. I hope you found something that inspired you or simply made you smile. Until next time, make it a great one.